Hey everybody, Adam here, Patriot Foods. Remember, when you're shopping for the U.S. farmer, supporting your U.S. farmer, you're supporting your country, you're supporting yourselves, okay? Don't ever forget that. Hey, go to patriotfoods.com today, like us, share us, tell your friends about us, okay? Be a real American and support your American farmers. Listen, I got a great guest today. He's been in the blueberry business for many years. His name is Wayne Kiel. Wayne Kiel, good morning. Wayne, can you tell me a little bit about how you started in the blueberry business in West Michigan, and how long have you been in the business?
Well, I was a third generation blueberry farmer. My grandfather started the farm back in the early 40s, and then my dad took over, and then I took over from him.
Wow,
So, so it's been a long time.
wow.
And so I was born and raised in the blueberry industry, and obviously I'm 75 years old now, and I sold the farms approximately 12 years ago. And even back then, we were starting to struggle on pricing and foreign competition.
Yeah, Wayne, how many acres did your grandfather start with before he had? Uh,
We actually started with about he had he owned a section, and or not a section. He owned probably 160 acres, and he sold 40. Then my uncle took over part of it, and then we had 50. But we actually started out with about 30 acres of blueberries.
was he making your opinion, your best opinion? Was he making a living on 40 acres back then, the 50s, or when was that? 40s, late 40s?
Yeah, that would have been in the that would have been in the 50s,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, made a good living in the 50s, and then my dad took over in the 60s, and we expanded slightly, and we were actually making money, but and then I took over, and we were still making money in the 70s and 80s, and by the late 90s, early 2000s, it started to change,
Mm-hmm.
and by 2010 it had definitely changed, and if you didn't have the right varieties, I mean, like for instance, Elliots were just introduced back about that time. That was a late variety. It was actually meant to be a processed variety, but it turned into a fresh variety, and they they were extremely lucrative in 2000s and 2010 to 2016, and then that started to change.
Yeah. So your grandfather was making a living off 30 to 40 acres. Your dad
Yep.
became of age and really started working the dirt there on the farm. How many acres were
Yep.
added? How many acres did your dad add, or did he not have to add any?
He added. We had a chance to buy 40 acres, and he bought that. He actually bought that 40 acres back in the late 50s in Ottawa County for $75 an acre. And even back then, they thought 70 was a little high. But now look at what the cost of land is.
Yeah, yeah, that's for sure. I mean, you need a calculator to add up the differences anymore. So,
Yep.
so the total acreage you grew up working with your dad was around 90, 80 acres. Is that fair to say?
Yeah. And then when I took over, we expanded up close to 200. And then I started selling some off uh, and sold them off at an extremely high level. Then in 2014, when I sold most of the farm, uh, was not because I wanted to, it's just we weren't making money and had a chance to sell it for uh, a large sum of money per acre. And just to give you an example, I sold that on a 10-year contract. That resold in 2024 for a third of what I sold it for.
Sure, sure. The blueberry farming in Michigan is becoming very unpopular, guys. That's what he's explaining right now to you. And, it's because of Peru, it's because of Argentina, Mexico. I mean, listen, guys, when the blueberries come over here, if it doesn't make fresh, it goes frozen. They don't send the blueberries back where they came from, okay? So when they go frozen, that brings down the processor price for us. So stuff that we can't sell for fresh, we've always been able to rely on our frozen inventory. We put the blueberries in cold storage. They come out late fall, sometimes in the spring for better money if you want to gamble a little bit. But we've lost these things. We've lost these things because of other countries doing what we do, and they can do it so much cheaper. Wayne, so let's do a little bit of timeline here. So you figure you made money in the blueberry industry, half of your career, a quarter of your career. What do you think before you realized, hey, I'm seeing the writing on the wall here. We're not making any money.
Well, actually, the last 5 or 10 years that I farmed blueberries, so 2/3 of my life, it was a good living. It was a great way to raise your family.
Yeah.
But because of imports, and I think people have to really realize and look at this thing and understand it's not just the blueberry industry. All of agriculture right now is really struggling from imports, and you have to look at these imports and look at who is funding these imports. It's the large corporations, it's the large sales organizations. There used to be 50 or 60 people selling blueberries. We used to do mixed loads and LTLs and all that stuff, and that's all went away. And it's just big straight loads of blueberries going to 4 or 5 major chains, and we've lost that independent grocer. We've lost the independent sales representatives, and now it's just all large sales organizations dominating this, as well as the the big chain stores. And let's just look at how many new stores go up. And I don't care what large chain it is, they're building them everywhere. You don't see that happening in agriculture. You see consolidation in agriculture, but you're also seeing agriculture leave this country and go to foreign countries, which are actually funded by the sales organizations and the large corporations, the large change corporations of food.
100%, 100%. I look at this timeline and the acreage. Even on the small scale of your family, which used to be a very large scale, guys, but the acreage didn't grow. Okay, the farm didn't grow. So Wayne is telling you and showing you what's happening in this country. Okay, so his family farm didn't grow. It didn't level out. They're not making money today on that farm. Okay, Wayne's done other things. I mean, he rides horses. He does a lot of interesting things. But listen, guys, the point is this: the American farmer's going out of business. Okay, you take a couple scares like a pandemic, and we're not flying food over here from Peru or Mexico or Argentina because there's a pandemic going on, and the ships are stopped and they're not getting unloaded. This country cannot feed itself. I'm telling you right now, we'll run out of freezer food. We'll run out of storage food, okay? The canned food will run out. There's not enough farmers in this country to feed this country. We built these retailers. We built these Walmarts of this country. We built these Krogers of this country. The U.S. farmer has. And these people have sold us out. They've sold us out. 100%. That's what Wayne's telling you right now. Right now, they've sold us out. Listen, these kids can't go to college, guys, and learn how to farm. You can't send somebody to college and learn how to farm. They've been raised on a farm like Wayne. That's how they learn to grow blueberries, good blueberries out of West Michigan. He was raised on a farm. You learn that. You learn it slowly. You like it. You learn it. But listen, when mom and dad's getting the tractor repoed and the pickup repoed, why does Junior want to farm? Right? There's a lot of different reasons why he doesn't want to today. But the biggest reason right now is because of the markets, okay? These retailers, Wayne, I tell you, I have Meyer Corp say, Adam, we're done buying your blueberries. We've switched to Peru. Now listen to what I just told you guys. When they tell you we're done with Michigan, we switched to Peru. It doesn't get any more scarier than that. They shouldn't be able to do that to you as an American farmer. They shouldn't be able to say, look, you have great quality fruit, Adam or Wayne. You have great quality fruit, but we're switching to Peru. Okay? That, I'm telling you, it should be illegal. It's not right. It's not morally right. You know, me and Wayne pay our taxes here. We send our kids to school here. We shop at Myers. It's unbelievable. And I'm just using Myers as an example. Walmart says the same thing. I'm not just picking on Myers, guys. It's unbelievable. When they switch, and you're on the outside looking in. Is that fair, Wayne?
Yeah, and I don't think you can just pick on any one chain. It's all a chains. It doesn't matter if it's Winn-Dixie. It doesn't matter if it's Safeway. It doesn't matter if it's. There were several large chains that I used to deal with out in Minnesota, Wisconsin, the Dakotas, Iowa, and there was Super Value. There was Red Owl, which is no more. That's all consolidated. And I'm trying to think of the big chain now that's in Iowa and Minnesota. It eludes me, but it doesn't matter what
Yeah.
chain you got. It's all the chain stores. And I think the other thing that people really have to look at, and this is what they don't look at, it's called food density, nutrient value, and the anaerobic plate counts, the good bacteria and the bad bacteria. That's why you need to eat local food. I don't care if it's fresh or fresh. I call it fresh frozen because anything coming from either Mexico or South America, especially South America, that's put on a slow boat, put in CA storage. That stuff's 3 to 6 weeks old before it gets here. That's not
And it's
fresh.
yeah.
You're better off to buy frozen blueberries that were picked one day and processed and frozen the next day or the day after. That's, I call that fresh frozen, and that's the mistake that everybody makes. And the other thing is that bacteria is good for us because we're used to that bacteria, and there's good bacteria and bad
Yeah.
bacteria. And because of all of the things that they have to do to get those blueberries shipped from offshore, there's nothing there, and that's why people are having so many food allergies and everything else, and problems with food because you can't eat stuff from all the way around the world. Bananas, coffee, coconuts, we don't grow that here. That's one thing. But fruits and vegetables that we grow here, you know what? If you can't buy them fresh, buy them frozen because they're fresh frozen.
That's right, and read your label, guys. It's the law. They have to put the origin of the country on the label. Uh, if it's frozen beans, whatever it is, read your label, right, Wayne? Listen,
Yes,
I
absolutely
mean,
right.
they fumigate the crap out of these containers. I mean, the fumigation's unbelievable. And who's in charge of the fumigation's getting done over there, and then they fumigate it again when it hits the Jersey Shore or the West Coast. They fumigate this stuff again, especially fresh, guys. I mean, they're fumigating these fresh blueberries 2, 3 times before they get off the boat or off the plane, okay? And what Wayne is touching on right now is no joke. You don't know what you're eating. I mean, you really don't know what you're eating. But the bottom line is this, you know, the Florida guys, they have great Florida blueberries, great Florida strawberries, and you know what? They can't even sell the stuff. It ain't no different than Michigan. Mexico comes in and just pounds them to pieces, and the retailers and the marketers, like Wayne was just touching on, they're not held accountable for their actions at all. They're making tons of money, and we're losing our farmers. We're losing our farmers, and it doesn't matter. Like Wayne says, it doesn't matter if you're a tomato guy. I mean, this country hardly grows tomatoes anymore, you know. But it doesn't matter if you're a tomato guy, a pepper guy. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We cannot make money. We're highly regulated. We're regulated. It's almost like the government owns our farm. We're highly regulated. But Mexico can ship stuff in. And Wayne, I want to touch on something very quickly. You had some organic ground, and I see it.
Right.
I see it really crazy and convenient for the marketer that they can basically put an organic sticker on anything coming out of Mexico, and everybody believes it for some reason. That's awful convenient, isn't it?
Yeah, it's awful convenient, but you don't know
You
for
don't.
sure because who's regulating? Who's actually going down there and looking at the farm? And the paperwork down there is not anything like the paperwork that's involved up here. So they can use any kind of penmanship they want down there.
That's right. And you used to make money with organics, and now organics are about the same value as a conventional berry in the United States, guys. I mean, the organics used to be special, but when you can put an organic sticker on offshore and send it here to our country and feed it to you by these high volumes that don't make any sense, they're clearly not growing them organically, okay? But when they can do that, there's no more money in it. There's no more money in it. Wayne, when did you switch some of your ground to organic, and did you not do that to get the higher return?
Yeah, we probably shifted. Well, we shifted about 10 years before I actually quit farming, and in the beginning it was really good, and we made really good money. But as we progressed towards 2014, it was tougher and tougher, and then they wanted volume. You know, it used to be able to ship X amount here and X amount there. Then they would come up with the excuse, well, we need truckload volume. Well, part of that problem is when you start consolidating uh, the buying segment of this as well as the sales segment of this, you start creating unfair competition, and then the sales organizations and the chains start dictating what they're going to pay
Yeah.
instead of what it's worth.
Yeah, well, again, it's a lot easier and cheaper for them to slap an organic sticker on overseas and bring it to you guys, okay, and put it on the shelf.
Right.
So, like Wayne said, and I always preach this: read your labels, read your labels. And you don't need to buy fresh blueberries out of Mexico or Peru. You can buy U.S. blueberries from us, frozen, beautiful blueberries, frozen, growing right, okay? Or you can read your labels in your frozen sector and maybe get lucky and find some berries from the United States. Unfortunately, most of the frozen in your retailers from Canada, because they're a big hitter on the frozen sector of the berry world, okay? And you know, these guys in Canada, they're actually Indians, and I have nothing against Indians, okay? Let's get that straight. They're Indians from India, and they own vast farms in Canada, and they get this currency exchange, guys, the U.S. exchange, the dollar exchange, okay? They get that kickback, and then they get the currency exchange from Canada to India, okay? So they get that kickback. And that's why the Indians from India that reside in Canada and have these massive farms in Canada, that's how they're making it work. And the Canadian government gives them lots of subsidies and a lot of help, a lot more help than what we get from our government. But again, me and Wayne, and I don't think very many growers are looking for government handouts, okay? We're looking for our markets. We're looking to be needed again before it's too late. I mean, that's what my whole show's about, bringing awareness to you, to your ear, and telling you, you know, it's not just blueberries, guys. It's everything. It's everything. These farmers are not buying more farmland. They're not growing. Their farms are not growing. Okay, their farms are not growing. They're shrinking. Big investment companies are buying up these farms. They're consolidating the farms, like Wayne's saying, and then they lease the farms out. Okay, sometimes they lease the farms out to the grower that they bought the farm from. Okay, but that's a very scary place to be, isn't it?
Absolutely.
These investment companies buy these farms up because the grower, the farmer's in trouble, guys. He's in big trouble, and they try to rent the land back and farm the land back. And what the investment company does, in a nutshell, guys, is they farm the money back out of the farmer that the farmer got for his farm. Okay, they're farming the farmer, and I want to tell you something. I got that phrase from you, Wayne. Actually, everybody is farming the American farmer, and the farmer's losing.
That is correct.
It's just unbelievable, unbelievable. Hey, Wayne, thanks for coming on this morning. I got to run. Thanks so much, guys. Support Patriot Foods. Remember, we're everywhere. Okay. All over the internet, okay? Like us, support us. Hey, join, follow us, tell your friends about us. And I want to interview you. Any farmers, I want to talk about you. I want to brag about your hard work and what you're growing, okay? We want to get you out there and talk about you. And that's what we're about, okay? So until next time, hey, Wayne, Merry Christmas. And hey, take care of that pony, my friend.
Yeah, Merry
Take care
Christmas
of
to
that
you
pony.
too. Take care.
Thanks, buddy. Thank you so much.